To introduce our first special guest this evening, Lauren Echols will be a senior in high school this year and is a member of Team Elaine. And Lauren's mom, Elaine, was diagnosed with MS in 1993. Lauren's been involved with Team Elaine from the beginning, volunteering for her first few years, and then riding with you folks for the last 4 events. She's going to share with us a little bit about her passion for riding, and can you imagine this, her inspiration, her mom. Ladies and gentlemen, Lauren Echols.
Hi everyone, my name is Lauren Echols. I'm 17 years old and I will be a senior in high school next year. And I would be going to Franklin Regional High School in Murraysville, Pennsylvania, but instead I will be an exchange student in Spain for the year. But obviously this presentation isn't about me, so what I really wanted to do today was show you and tell you how deeply personal this event is to me. For me, my connection to the MS 150 is through my mother, Elaine. As I'm sure you've already guessed it, my mom is the namesake for... She's already crying. I'm sorry. As I'm sure you've already guessed it, my mother is the namesake for Team Elaine. Though if she were speaking today, she would quickly reveal that she was not part of naming it. Team Elaine was named and organized by a dear family friend who passed away several years ago. Cycling is only one of the athletic activities that my sports-crazed family has become obsessed with. My mom has always been an athlete, competing in gymnastics from the time she was a young kid into her late teens. She practiced every minute that she could, every day after school, and until the late hours of the evening. When she wasn't doing gymnastics, she was riding her bike up and down the steep hills of Brookline. Of course, the list, however, doesn't stop there. My mother loved to ski. She spent every weekend on the slopes with a couple of her friends, and in fact, my parents met at the ski lodge at Seven Springs. Shortly after they met, in 1989, my mother was diagnosed with MS, but she surely wasn't going to let it stop her. 2 years after I was born, in 1996, we moved to Idaho. She was pregnant with my little brother, Connor. After he was born, she jumped right back into exercising as much as she could with 2 little ones. She continued to ski as much as possible and ran 5 miles a day with her friend and became what I would like to know or call a gym rat. At this time, she only suffered from numbness in her hands and feet. She was capable of anything she put her mind to. In 2001, we picked up and moved yet again back to Pennsylvania. The stress of moving and having to settle to a new place with 2 toddlers constantly requiring her attention eventually caused her to have an exacerbation. Luckily, she suffered very small amount of permanent damage, and that winter we were all out on the slopes skiing again. As if going to the gym every day, running after 2 little ones, and skiing all day every weekend wasn't quite enough, my mother aspired to convince my father to purchase a comfort bike with her, not knowing that this would become yet another family obsession. Although my father had no intention of buying a comfort bike, he had other ideas in mind, something more manly, you guessed it, a mountain bike. That summer, my mother purchased mountain bikes for the whole family. My parents quickly took to liking biking around Murraysville, Pennsylvania, so when they heard about the Keystone Country Ride, they were sold. Although my mother trained for the first ride, in 2005, she realized that this may not be a feat she would be capable of at this stage. So being the optimistic person that she is, she instead signed up to be a volunteer. And my father, cousin, and a couple of family friends took on this exact 150-mile ride exactly 9 years ago. And ever since, Team Elaine has been been riding in the Keystone Country Ride. In 2007, my brother and I decided that we were not satisfied with merely hearing about the Keystone Ride from our parents. We wanted to actually see what all the hype was about. So despite the advice from others not to bring her children, my mother brought us to our first MS 150 to volunteer with her. And that experience could not have been better. Just a few years later, my brother and I were riding with all of the other cyclists, and we have been riding ever since. Over the years, my mother has stayed an active person, the active person that she has always been, despite the more permanent damage that she has experienced over the years from MS. She may not be able to climb a mountain or ride 150 miles, but she has her own amazing personal achievements. She inspires me every day to work harder and be thankful for what I have. Due to the way my mother's condition has changed with MS, she has had to adapt her life partially to MS. She may not be able to run on a treadmill, but she can walk. She may not be able to ride her bike, but she can support her team and her family to do so. She may not be able to climb a mountain, but there are so many other things that she's capable of instead. Instead of focusing on what she is unable to do, she focuses on what she can, and I genuinely hope that those of you who suffer from MS have adapted to that mindset, because no matter what condition you are in, you are capable of something great. You should be proud of whatever you can achieve with MS, because MS is different for everyone, and therefore you can't compare yourself to others. I think that's really why I wanted to give this speech today, because in all of the dinners that I've attended over the years, I have never quite heard a story similar to my mom's. A story of someone who suffers with MS, who has had to give up some of the things that she really loves because of it, but still powers through every day and finds things that she is capable of, and that's what I find inspiring. So as you can see, this event is very personal to me. I have watched my mom struggle through many things, and yet she stays hopeful and happy. And for that very reason, I have to thank every person sitting in this audience tonight, because each and every one of you is important in the fight against MS. And I hope that I have shown you just one more person to fight for. I just wanted to share with you something that my mom told me as a child, and to this day it still sits in the back of my mind. She said that all the fundraising she was doing and all the hours she had spent volunteering would not likely lead to a cure for her MS, but would lead to a cure for others after her, and I know that she is not the only one who is sacrificing their time in order to cure people who will be diagnosed with MS in the future. And if that isn't the most beautiful thing in the world, then I don't know what is.